is up, MFers? Welcome out to the pond. Got Coleslaw with me today, and if you notice, something is very different on the old trolling motor. We got this little bad boy right here. That is the brand new forward-facing transducer from Humminbird called the Mega Live Dos. As you guys know, this is the transducer right here, the Garmin LVS 34 that I've run for forward-facing sonar since I started fishing. I've also used the Lowrance version as well on other people's boats, but Humminbird just came out with this Mega Live 2 transducer, and they sent me one, and I want to freaking check out what it looks like. I've heard that it's a lot better. I don't really know what to expect with it, to be honest, but we're going to just go out and give you guys a very honest example of what it looks like for the very first time, me just busting out the package. To be completely transparent, I get $0 from Humminbird, I get $0 from Garmin, I get $0 from Lowrance. I have no major, interest here or anything. I just know that there's a lot of people that have seen the press release and the videos and stuff about this Mega Live in the Explore series coming out, and I wanted people to be able to just watch and see what the footage actually looks like. I think anyone, just to be transparent and honest, I think anyone that's even involved with Humminbird would quite simply say that they are in third place right now when it comes to forward-facing sonar, and they released this and they claim that it's going to be better. So I'm going to record on my phone what I'm seeing out there. Hopefully we're able to see some fish. I'm going to mess with the settings a bunch to kind of try to dial it in just perfect, and that way if you guys do go out and buy one of these, you'll be able to know what to put the settings at. And honestly, if it's terrible, I'm going to straight up tell you that too. I have no problem telling you guys that. One thing I just want to show you guys before we put in the lake, just a difference in the transducer between the Garmin and the Humminbird. Honestly, I'm very impressed with the ergonomics and how robust this guy is from Humminbird, and the ease of use and installation. With this Quest trolling motor, it does have the flat sides on it. So I'm not really sure, honestly, I'm not super tech specific. I don't have a ton of the specs and stuff. I'm not sure if it will fit a round shaft well. I'm sure that they have some, they do include the rubber sheet paper thing that Garmin does too, to keep it from moving around too much. But I really like that because I do have a Minn coated Quest, of course, Johnson Outdoors products, and so it sticks really nice on there, and you have a perfectly straight beam as it's meant to go, because it's lined up, the flat part here with the flat parts of the mount. Also, one thing I really like about it that's different than the Garmin, it's super easy to switch in and out of, Garmin calls it perspective, but the landscape mode, between forward and landscape, you can see right here we got a couple notches, and so it's in forward, the F lines up, and then all you got to do right here, you push this button, flips it up, and boom, you're already in landscape. Supposedly, haven't used it yet on the water, like I said, this is literally the first time out. Supposedly it has a good sensor in here that allows the unit, when it's in auto, to switch in and out seamlessly. You don't have to switch any of your settings, which again, the Garmin, you have to go in to installation, appearance, and all the modes and stuff. It doesn't take that long, but it can be kind of a hassle, so it's a really quick way to change it. And the bracket's really nice too. If you get the tightness down just right on it, you can grab that thing, move it around. Very small increments too for your changes. So just quick observations. That's what I like about it. When you want to fold it back down, push these two buttons here. Clicks in really nice. We got her lined up with forward. Let's dump this boat in, see what it looks like. All right, so here is the settings per just what they're on right now. Luckily, I've got the good help of Mark Zane. Mark Zane. He sent me some settings. I haven't messed with any of this stuff. For as far as I know, these might be not the settings that I even want, but this is what Zona told me to do. So he spent a lot more time with the bird stuff than I have. So turn the sensitivity all the way up. Contrast, he said 8 to 10. I'm not really sure what contrast is going to look like. Oh, so you turn up the contrast, it's going to get away from some of that clutter. Kind of takes all the clutter off. You see that we're bumping it all the way up. There's the highest contrast will go right there. That's pretty slick actually, but he said 8 to 10, and I do like to run my Livescope hot usually, which means there's usually a lot more clutter on the screen. So let's go 10 for now. Dynamic contrast balanced. Let's see what it looks like. Low is what it came in. Balanced, high. So that reminds me of the setting on the Garmin. where you can remove some of the algae and clutter. So high is going to take away all the clutter once again. Balanced. It's good that there's fish out there too, Cole. That will probably help us with this video. Balance is right in the middle, and then low is going to look like what it was on before. Sonar colors, so when they released this, they talked about all the different palettes they had, which they want us to check them out and see what we thought of them. So this amber color looks a lot like the Garmin one that I usually run. Black and blue craw. That looks pretty good. That bass, it's coming in up there. It's at, we got 85 feet for the range out. So that's probably a 3 to 4 pound fish, I would guess. So that's good to see. We got some tail separation. You can see that. I like that. I'm probably going to run it on this amber one, but let's look at some of the other ones. Spring craw. So that's kind of similar. Doppler. Some of these look a lot like, Doppler looks like one. I know some of the elite guys use this on their Garmin. PB&J. That one looks pretty flat and two-dimensional, kind of like a Lowrance to me. Parrot, motor oil. Motor oil looks pretty similar to the amber. Alabama amber, that is. Golden shiner. See, when you start using these palettes like this golden shiner, to me, it all just looks like really, really two-dimensional. And it might just be because of my eyes and what I'm used to looking at. And the crazy thing is, a lot of guys will tell you this with forward-facing, your sunglasses and the color lens you wear and just the way that your eyes are can drastically make a difference with the morning, sun's high, low light conditions. Can make a huge difference in the performance and what you're seeing on your graph with your forward-facing. But when I have palettes like these, like this golden shiner, the black and blue craw, you notice that in this PBJ, it looks so two-dimensional. And when I say that, I mean that there's no contrast in each individual fish or structure or whatever, because it's all kind of the same color. But then when you go to like this amber color, to me, I don't know if you guys are seeing that, but there's so much. I just realized I'm not recording the screen at all. Can you see the screen good? So when I get on this, the Alabama amber, you can tell like the brightness of the yellow, obviously that's an object, but then the outside of it, as I kind of pan around, the outside of it kind of has that darker orange. And so that gives me, like there's a big fish, or a fish, a bass out there. That gives you an idea of when it's brighter, it gets that really bright glow. It means you're right on that fish, it's dead center. And that's super important, knowing if you're looking directly at the fish or not, because once I turn it, watch, if I turn it, it's gonna fade to, you know, only that orange. But if I turn the trolling motor back towards the fish, boom, we got brightness all of a sudden. Same with that fish, it's coming in out there. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna kind of bounce through these settings. I'm gonna turn it up hotter. I really like this Alabama amber. I'm just used to that color. The motor oil looks quite a bit the same too. Some of these look okay, actually. I mean, that's some of the same brightness we're talking about show up a lot with these different, the spring craw and the Doppler are gonna give you different colors for those bright spots. And I know guys like to use those, but personally, I like the amber palettes. We're just gonna run with that. I'm gonna crank it out to 100 feet. That's a pretty safe distance for what I like to run my stuff on. I'm also gonna kill this sidebar. I gotta remember how to kill this side. You know what, I'm gonna leave it up because I'm gonna change this a lot. So once again, the more I bump the contrast up, the less fuzz we're gonna have. I'm gonna bump it down to 8. Balanced dynamic contrast, Alabama amber, sensitivity all the way up. Let's go fishing. I don't know what all this is, Cole. Shad, I guess. It's not trees, it's not grass. Must be chads. Recording. All right, so I'm gonna throw a little 6 cents Aussie. It's gonna be released soon. You guys know that, I've been talking about it forever. Let's just kind of pan around. You can see that looks pretty good. That's obviously a big tree that's down there. It's got some good contrast to it. There's definitely a lot less clutter on the screen, like I was saying right now, than my Garmin generally has with how hot I like to run it. It's not like a positive or negative. I'm actually kind of realizing I think that might be a little bit of a thermocline that's showing up down there. You guys can see 18 to 20 feet. There's a group of fish out there. 70 feet now. Saw my bait hit. That was good. That was good. Maybe those aren't bass. Probably throwing a crappie or shad. Different size screen than I'm used to also. Yeah, they're moving towards us and to the left. So you guys can kind of see, I kind of like that, how you can see like, it almost looks like a diamond shape. When you hit them, when you're straight on with them right there, it kind of glows up and down from the fish. So that's different. It's not something I'm used to. I'm also not used to running at 100. I'm used to running at 120. So I probably missed all those fish. They missed me. There's another fish down there. There goes my cricket. Oof. Came up and smoked it. That's a good sign. And now he's gonna not do anything. Hey, we saw a fish and hit him, Cole. I should catch him next time. There's another fish up there higher. I'm gonna try to hit a couple fish and hopefully catch a couple fish before I start really playing with the settings and seeing what some of the stuff looks like. There's a terrible cast. Good job, Ben. I didn't personally use the Mega Live 1, but since I'm a nerd of the sport and watch like everything fishing related, I can already tell this is seems to be a substantially better product. That guy doesn't agree. He says, I'm not eating it. I don't care what Livescope you're throwing. He's out of here. Some fish up there, you guys can see them up there. There's a little bit of hydrilla right here, but they're right at 70 feet out, right above that grass line. There's some more grass out there too. You can see it kind of comes up. There's not as much grass here as there usually is. I think some of it kind of died off with the water coming up, and then we're in the winter, but 70 feet out there, you can kind of see it coming almost to the surface. There's a good fish out there. Good-ish. One thing that I would like to know on this, and I've been asking a few people, that's a pretty good fish right there. Let's start throwing a different bait out there. I got a hover juggle tied up. But one thing I would like to know is what the difference is in the beam angle on this, because I know, you know, Garmin seems to kind of be the standard as far as what guys use for forward facing, but a lot of guys like Lowrance because it has that smaller beam angle. So in my opinion, you're getting a lot more detail. It looks a lot better on Garmin than Lowrance, but with the narrower beam angle, you can put it on fish a lot easier sometimes without Lowrance. That's why guys seem to like that and gravitate towards it a little bit more sometimes. But it seems like, so if I fire this out there, you know, your beam angle is going to get wider and wider the further out you go. So the further of a cast I make, the more you're going to pick up, even if you're off by a few feet, right? So if I pitch one really close to the boat here and I'm off by a couple feet, like that, you just barely see it there, 25, 30 feet. I'd pan over to it, there's my cricket, but it's hard for me to talk about this when there's fish on the screen. That's not a very big fish, but let's see if he wants to play. They're pretty sneaky this morning. They don't really want to do much. Oh, now he sees it. That's a better one out there, though. Let's go for him. 80 feet. Cole, I thought you just like cast it out and caught him when you had forward facing. Riddle me that. To me, the beam angle looks closer to the Garmin. It seems like it's a hair wider than the Lowrance that I've used on, and I really don't have extensive experience with the Lowrance, just from what I've used on buddies' boats. Let's crank this a little bit. I'm gonna crank the contrast down. I like the contrast kind of. Yeah, once you crank the contrast up, it's gonna start looking a little more two-dimensional and you stop getting all that good hotness. But let's turn the dynamic contrast to low. And let's run it like that. So once again, as you guys see on the screen there, contrast 10, dynamic contrast low, sensitivity still all the way up at 20. And that's starting to look a little bit more like how I run my Garmin usually. So fire a bait out there to see it on the screen. I do really like, and I'll show you a little bit more the setup of the transducer, the different modes, but I like how you can, first off, see your bait hit the water pretty consistently. It's not bouncing up and down. My Garmin definitely likes to do that. I've been through a million Garmin transducers. So all those fish you're seeing down there kind of lower in the column, that's shad. There's a couple actually towards the bottom there that might be bass, but let's find us a good stupid bass up in the column maybe. Oh, there's one down there. I don't know if I like that dynamic contrast like it is now or on medium better, but I can still see pretty good, I feel like. There's one out there. He's coming to my bait. What do you know? Fishing ain't easy. Let's see him come up to my bait though. Oh, he still wants it though. Yeah, Trey would have caught that one, no question. I mean, I say Trey, but 90% of the Elite Series field would have caught that. I'm just off my game this morning so far. It's all right. That's a big one down there on the bottom. Honestly, dang catfish or something. Let's try to catch him. I want to catch a catfish. Let's eat something today. Oh, he turned into a gar or something. Never mind. Back to bass fishing. I'm definitely letting it. I'm trying to watch this too much and just get a vibe for it. And I'm letting the bait get underneath the fish a little bit, which a lot of you guys know is pretty much automatic. You ain't catching them if you let it get under them. Oh, he bumped it. Yes, I have fished before. Twice. What an idiot. Get that guy out there, way out. Let's see how my bait looks 90 feet out. Let's see if it picks it up good. It probably would have if, no, it picked it up. There it was. I just missed the cast, but it was at 70, 75. All right, fish is at about 78 feet now towards the bottom there. Which is why I casted to 68 and missed him by 10 feet. Definitely this thing has a lot more sensitivity and you can see a lot better out further than the original version. I can tell you that right now for a fact. There, he sees it. It's a good fish too. Do it. That's a good fish, Cole. What a joke. It looked terrible at first. until I changed the settings up. That Zana guy, Xena Warrior Michiander, must know what he's talking about. I thought that guy was just a commentator. Zark Mona, as he's known across the world. Hey, eat my cricket. How about that, buds? He's like, I'm big, and you can go F yourself. That's what he just said. Cole, you brought the cast net, right? We're gonna need to fish for a thumbnail. Get that cast net in there. Just kidding, folks. That would be illegal, and that is not something that I would do. Is something that's illegal. Don't do illegal stuff. It's bad. Are you kidding me? I like how that looks with all that school of fish that just chased my cricket and didn't eat it, bumped it. That looks good. It's fun watching fish not eat. I'm trying to hit the ones that are further out because I know those are the ones that are more likely not to laugh at me, especially since they're a little bit difficult this morning. God dang, these jokers are smart. Oh, it saw my bait good 90 feet out. Still don't know where my bait went. Probably in that one's mouth. Yeah, he was freaking on top of it. So that's pretty good. I mean, you can see my bait there right in front of that fish, chasing it in. And really, I'm running 120 feet out now, so that looks pretty solid for as far as picking your bait up and seeing fish. Where are we at here? I like this lake and chose this lake to do this video at too because I knew we would see what we're seeing right now, and that is fish just swimming around all over the place in the open. Just a perfect place to kind of take a look and see what this stuff does. In a second though, like I said, after we catch some, if we catch some, we're gonna bump up shallow and we're gonna put it in this landscape mode that I've been seeing some pretty impressive shots from, and see what that looks like too. I know a lot of people probably want to see what that looks like. There's a couple. You can see those fish on the bottom there. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see little flickers there, 85, 90 feet out, and then there's that one right above them too. Apparently I just decided I was just going to make a cast 6 feet short of him and suck. These guys are way up in the column though. Yeah, he's got buds now. So maybe this is a knock on the Humminbird, but maybe not. I don't really know. Maybe it's just my eyes not being used to it and being so used to using the LVS 34 Garmin. But it seems like there's like a lot more reverb in front of and behind the fish that is making, like, look at that fish out there 100 feet. Like, yeah, it's hard to see fish 100 feet on any forward facing a lot of times, 105 feet now, but it kind of gives this, you can see there's like lines back behind him, and I can't tell personally if that's interference or if that's, two more fish. Of course, right now it's not doing it. But there, right there, look at that. Is that more fish? Probably. But like this one like completely blocks it. It's just the way that this looks apparently. And again, I'm just not used to it. It's something new. And I feel like using all different types of sonar and changing settings is what's going to make you better. So I'm good with that. I'll be better for it to do this today and see what all this looks like. Apparently what's really important too is that I make terrible casts and miss these giant fish that are swimming around this grass edge. All right, you can definitely see there's a couple that just came out from there too. There's my bait, it hit 70 some feet. Just barely could see it though. I might need to dial back into 100. Let's dial it back in. It's kind of struggling out there with contrast. Bunch of fish on this grass point right here, you guys can see. I like those ones that are down there by the bottom too. So there's my bait out there, 65 feet. See, look at all that reverb kind of behind the fish there. That's what I'm talking about. That's I don't know if I like that or I'm just not used to it or what. And apparently the fish are just gonna do laps around my bait instead of eating it, which is fun. Look at that big one out there. How big is that one? 100 pounds? Here they come towards the boat, of course. There's my jerk bait out there. Coming to investigate, but I like these guys back here that haven't seen the boat 20 feet away from it. See them back there. I kind of like that too. That's good. You can definitely see past the grass line, which is ideal. There's my jerk bait out there, 80 feet. Let's see if these guys want to play. Looks like a no. The grass looks pretty good on there. Get a little contrasty look. Yeah, that grass looks pretty solid on there. I don't hate that. This lake's so fun. There's just fish swimming around. You don't ever catch any. That's the fun part too. You just get better at fishing by not catching any. Saw my bait hit out there. There's my bait. Cole, I think I like it with more fuzz. I think I'm just used to it, you know? Okay, low dynamic contrast. Let's lessen the regular contrast. I don't like that though. I like the contrast. There, let's try that. 15 for contrast, low for dynamic contrast. That seems to give us some pretty good definition on fish. Yeah, this ain't for me. We need to turn that contrast back. That Zarkmone guy, whatever his name was, Zarkmona. Holy. What do we do? Dynamic contrast, we'll leave it low. Sick. Okay, here's some standing timber up here. You can tell it's pretty dang hot. Probably a lot of crappie mixed in there. Let's throw this little hub jug in there and see if we can suck one out. There's my bait kind of coming through there. Definitely some fish. You can see 90 feet out. It's pretty consistent all the way through the image. I do like that. Like, I know with the Gen 1, a lot of people talked about how, you know, once you got past 50, 60 feet, it got a lot worse of a picture. This one seems to be like consistent all the freaking way through. Like I'm seeing my bait the same 80, 90 feet out as I'm seeing it close to me. And I'm seeing a snag right there. Little guy. Lost him. You guys saw it happen though. That was cool. Now, even though it's not in the water and not on. Okay, fishing. Just had to move. Little guy, but that was cool. Pulled up, rip lips. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come. He was right out in front of the boat when I put the trolling motor down. All right, we spent some time with Ford. The fish clearly don't want to bite today, but the point of the video wasn't really to go out and catch fish. I wanted you guys to see what the fish looked like. Now let's put it in this landscape mode. And from the videos I've seen of it, it looks really good, but the videos of every type of electronics from 2D to forward facing to side imaging, they always look money in the freaking, the ads that the different electronics companies put out. So like I showed you guys earlier, we're gonna push our little button over here, flop that guy down, and then for landscape, we're gonna have to decide where we want it. There's this little notch right here for L. I think it's the other side. Yeah, so from this notch, you can't really see it on there. It's on the other side actually, it's just like this. From that notch to that notch, those are the different landscape methods. This spot right here is not very deep, and so the shallower it is, just like on the Garmin, the flatter you're gonna want that angle. Let's go with the middle of the 3 notches to start with, and I have, once again, no idea if this is going to look any good without changing the settings or if it's got its own settings for landscape. It actually did. So it came with the stock settings, which I kind of like that too. You don't have to completely change. It's not on 100 feet just like it was in Ford. It automatically switched to the landscape settings. So Humminbird for me has always been a leader, and then I think a lot of people think this way too, but they've always been a leader when it comes in side imaging to bottom composition changes. We just pulled up on what looks like are definitely some bluegill beds, and it looks pretty dang sharp on there on the recording. And I've just kind of been messing with the contrast and sensitivity and how far away we're looking, but bumping the sensitivity down, you know, it doesn't look terrible as you bump it down, especially on the recording. On the actual Apex 16 here, it doesn't look too great. Actually, it does look like there's a bluegill or something in this that depression there about 20 feet out. Probably a little bass just sitting in there because bluegills should not be spawning right now. They might be though. Contrast, we'll bump it down. There's 8. So kind of like in Ford, you know, you drop, why does it want to keep doing that? Is it on auto? It keeps going back to 10. It says auto sensitivity and contrast, and then that goes to there. Oh. Yes, I don't know what that's about. Keeps coming back to 10. Guess we're running the contrast on 10. But we'll just kind of pan around and look and see what this looks like. I was just showing Cole some stuff on it, but I guess the screen wasn't recording, which, to be fair, is we're not even using technology of Humminbirds for that. We're just using a recorder. Let me kill the sidebar here. We'll take a look at this dock quick, and then I think we'll kind of just move on to, I just want to give you guys an idea what the landscape mode looked like. We got it dialed in pretty good though. Those settings look pretty solid. This is going to be something that's really, really good for bed fishing. You can see there's a little hole there. I don't know if it was beds underneath this dock right here or what. Probably accidentally catch a dang 10-pounder doing this. The fish did kind of go over to it, didn't it? You can see him kind of swimming from right to left there, right in front of the dock here. Probably dang carp. But it looks pretty good. You can see the 8 dock poles right out there. Come over here, you can see this. Probably put some old brush piles or something out off the end of it. But it almost looks like tires actually. Looks good, man. Yeah, those are tires. You can see the outline of them. Look at that. That's money. That's pretty impressive. I like that a lot. And again, we are in, I thought that was a fish. We're in like 5-6 feet of water right here. I don't know why it doesn't say that. I probably just don't have it set right, but we're in 5 or 6 feet of water. It's on that middle mode of the 3 clicks that it has built in for landscape. Obviously you can put them deeper or shallower if you want to, but if I went under, you know, 4 or 5 feet, I would definitely click it up to like even, level and even. But that looks pretty impressive to me for, you know, some tires out here off the end of this dock. You can really see the outline of them. Besides that, it's pretty featureless out here. It's at 40 feet both directions right now. I like it, looks good. Well, in conclusion, fishing was pretty damn tough today, not gonna lie. Actually, if you guys watch a little bit further, maybe the next video or a couple videos from now, we used forward facing to catch fish up shallow at a different lake. We just got done fishing, we caught a ton, and I used the perspective mode, which is landscape mode, sorry, of the Humminbird, and it was absolutely money for the shallow fishing. So I was very impressed with that. I need to spend more time with it because it just looks different than the Garmin, and my eyeballs, like I said, are not used to it on forward, but it's definitely an improvement over the Gen 1. And really, I just want to let you guys watch the footage and get a first-hand experience of what it looks like, and you can make your conclusions about what it looks like. Appreciate you guys watching this. If you want to see more tech reviews, unbiased tech reviews like this one, I really would like to do some more of that. It's not something that I've done a lot of lately, but I used to kind of give product reviews and stuff like that. But like I said before, love the ergonomics of the transducer right here. Adjusting out of the mode's really simple, so at worst, it's really good for that and good for landscape mode, and I need more time with it on forward. But thanks for watching this one. I'm out of here. Peace.
I'm not sorry. I can't help